Hi everybody and welcome back to another video with me, Tom Dollimore, the number one FPL manager on the FPL Research Live Manager Rankings. I hope you all had a great Game Week 4. Let's take a look at how my team did in Game Week 4. Probably the most disappointing game week I've had so far this season. I think it's one of those game weeks where I felt like my team was in a much stronger position for the game week than most other players and most of the competition around me, but unfortunately it didn't really. I mean, it was an average score, 67, or just above average actually. But I think it's because I felt like it's going to be a big week, and this quite often happens. Sometimes you look at your team and you think this is going to be a great week for me, but it doesn't quite pan out that way. Obviously, other weeks you look at your team and you think, oh, it's not looking good this week. Let's just hope we can scrape through, and you have an absolutely amazing week. It's just all part of the variance of the game that you have to kind of mentally deal with. But yeah, I kind of felt like where I had the triple Liverpool mids against Burnley, I had an advantage that not many people that I've seen. I think it's because I'd seen a lot of people go for Saar where I went for Gakpo, and a lot of people stuck with Strand Larsen, who was obviously injured, and obviously Saar was injured, so I kind of felt like all the cards were falling in my favour. But ultimately it didn't quite pan out that way, and actually a lot of people that went to Saar then moved him on to Semenyo, who obviously did great. So yeah, it's the way some things go sometimes, but it's probably the first week where I've thought, I really hope when I start looking at start doing some planning that this turns out to be a good week to wildcard. I'll come back to that later, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. But it's one of those weeks where I just kind of wanted to rip up my team and start all over again. But yeah, so going through the team, Sanchez, 2 points, slightly disappointing there. Defence, I think my defence is probably, apart from Murillo's, defence has been pretty solid. Probably my best picks. So yeah, we've got the Spurs duo, Romero and Pedro Porro. Obviously Romero with the 12-pointer. Pedro Porro with 6 points. Yeah, then we had Anderson, who's been unreal. Probably my standout pick in my team this season so far. Yeah, so 10 points for him. Moving on to midfield, yeah, so Salah, captain, obviously got the last minute goal, which was nice, but ultimately I felt like I wanted Gakpo and Wirtz to do more because that's where my team differed. Yeah, obviously didn't happen, but it's still, at least we got the Salah goal, I guess. Reinders, 3 points again, slightly disappointing there, and Bruno Fernandes 2 points. That's yeah, disappointing as well. So yeah, midfield's not doing great in recent game weeks, and certainly this game week where I expected more from them. But forwards, Gyökeres got the 6 points. Yeah, that's I think he's going to be fairly solid. I mean, to be honest, the odds and the data absolutely love Gyökeres. Yeah, with my sort of planning, I don't even have him for very confident, like majorly confident minutes. But he's still coming out. Yeah, really good. Mateta, he's been slightly disappointing. I know he got the goal last week, but he got the yellow card as well last week, so it was only 5 points. But yeah, he's not really done much else. So same this week, 2 points there. Slightly disappointing, but yeah, I mean it's an average game week, 67 points, but one where I was hoping for more, so it's quite disappointing really. Moving on to what I've been thinking about plans. So going through the team. So I've got I'm starting Dubravka in goal over Sanchez. I think for this game week they'd both been pretty neck and neck in terms of who might start, and I was kind of dreading the decision, but the data's kind of edged in Dubravka's favour. So I think that's based on both teams' performances last week, and Nottingham Forest haven't been great, certainly not great at scoring. So I think that's edged the market odds, which feeds the data models that I use. It's edged it into Dubravka's favour. So yeah, starting with Dubravka in goal. Then we're having Pedro Porro moving into defence. Pedro Porro, I think it was always a decision between him and Reinders in midfield, but I think that it's probably, I had Reinders initially, but the data has moved. The odds have moved, and I think it's because of Arsenal's defensive record, the defensive stats this season. Yeah, it's kind of pushed Reinders down a bit. So, and it actually feels quite nice because I didn't want to bench any of the Spurs defenders because they've been so great. And with Reinders starting, I had both of them benched. So it's it's one of those where the data's shown me what I wanted it to show me, so it feels good. So yeah, Pedro Porro in defence, Esteve with Dubravka, so double Burnley defence again this week. That paid off last time, so let's hope that pays off again. Anderson, he's been unreal, so yeah, he's a no-brainer starting against Brentford at home. Now Murillo, I know he went off injured, and we're kind of waiting to see if he's going to play. It's one of those where I'll start him because it's an injury. I think he either plays or he gets 0 minutes. If he's fit, I want him in the lineup, but I don't think there's any risk of him coming off the bench, or not any major risk. So happy to start him. If we get any news that he's injured and he's ruled out, I don't think we're going to. It doesn't seem likely, but if we get any news of that, then I think I'm still happy to roll as well, because I've got Reinders and Romero on the bench. So still, yeah, even though I'm wildcarding in 6, still happy to roll that and carry that transfer till after the wildcard. Moving into midfield, we've got Salah, captain. We've still got the 3 Liverpool mids. Hopefully it pays off, and this is one of those weeks where you expected them to do well in the previous week because the fixture was better, but actually they end up delivering in the following week. I'm hoping that's going to happen here. We'll see. But Merseyside derby, I know Everton have been good, but it's they'll be up for it. So yeah, 3 Liverpool mids, Salah captain, Bruno Fernandes against Chelsea. I've said it before. I know Man United aren't great still, but Bruno Fernandes is a great player, and he's got so many ways he can score points. So yeah, he's actually my vice captain this week. Moving into the forwards, as I've said, Gyökeres, the betting odds and the data absolutely love him. So even though he's playing against City, it's still showing good potential points there. So starting him, and Mateta. Hopefully he can get something against West Ham, as poor as they've been. So that'd be nice. One more chance for him. Probably won't keep him on the wild card, so it'd be nice to get some points from him before he goes. Then bench, I got Sanchez, obviously. As I've mentioned, Reinders and Romero, and then Mark Guiu, last bench, because we don't expect him to get any minutes still. I think last week, in the last video, I said that I'd been doing some chip planning, and I was looking at potentially wildcarding in 6 or 13. They were kind of the 2 options I landed on. There were some options with bench boost and free hits around it, but it was mainly around planning for the 2 wildcards in either 13 or 6. And I think this week, so every week, I won't just say, okay, well, what was good last week when I did the analysis. I'll start from scratch, because I mean all the data's changed. It might be over meticulous. I can't bear to think that I might have missed something. So I start from scratch with the full analysis again. Because I do this each week, it kind of feels nicer if I can get chips out the way earlier, because then it means I've got less chips to think about when I do this analysis again. But yeah, so I've done the analysis again, and this time 13 was weaker, and I think 6 is the standout. So I think I'm 90% going for the wildcard in 6. So obviously that leaves us with Gameweek 5 to deal with. In terms of other chips around that, it's not too important now. So there is an option where I bench boost in 5. Don't think I'm going to do that, but I'll just talk through that option. There's an option of bench boost in 5, wildcard in 6, or wildcard in 6 and bench boost in 7, 8 or 9. I think they're all very close, and I don't need to make a decision now. All I need to know is that I'm going to wildcard in 6 and plan for that at this point. But it's good to know. Similar to what I said last week, the free hit, less important, and it comes up strong around 12, 13, 14, 15. But the amount of overall points or value it adds to the plan is not too major, so it's kind of, and it doesn't actually affect what the wildcard would look like in 6. So if I wildcard in 6 and free hit in 12, the wildcard probably wouldn't be any different to if I plan to free hit in 13. Don't need to worry about that too much, but it's nice to look at the options and start building a picture of what I'm working towards. So yeah, looking at the options, I'll go through my team So I think if I don't bench boost in 5, I'm looking to most likely unless there's any major news that prevents this, I'm looking to roll 2 transfers and another one next week. So 3 transfers and have 3 transfers after the wild card. So yeah, in terms of what I'm the option of bench boosting in Game Week 5. So I've had a look at it, and I can do Murillo and Guryu to a cheap defender and forward like either Foster or Muniz. That would allow me to bench boost this week. Obviously, I think Reinders and Romero and Sanchez, to be fair, not bad as a bench boost. I just think, ultimately the sort of data didn't support this. It was close, but yeah, it means I'm using 2 free transfers that I could have available after the wild card, and the players that I'm getting in aren't particularly strong. Wolves defender, Foster or Muniz, not really, mainly because of Muniz's minutes, but they're not really great. It seems like a bit of a desperate. It feels nice because it gets rid of the bench boost, but I think because I'm planning to use it quite soon after the wild card anyway. I suppose the only positive is that when I wild card, if I was to bench boost in 5, it would mean that I set my team up without having to set it up for the bench boost, so it's kind of cleaner for a longer run. But at the same time, I don't actually mind setting my team up for a bench boost, because it means that as we come into now teams are playing in Europe, and as we come into the Christmas period down the line, and the busier period of the season, it means that I've got a team full of playing players, so it covers the bench and gives me better rotation and options if we hear about injuries and stuff like that. So I don't mind it. I think from a data point of view, statistically, you'd still expect a better scoring team long term that was set up without the bench boost included. But yeah, I don't mind it, and at the moment the data is supporting a wild card in 6 with a bench boost in 7, 8 or 9. So yeah, that's kind of my plans at the moment. Yeah, I don't expect to make any transfers this week. Obviously we've got to wait for the last news, all the information, but I don't expect to be making a transfer. But yeah, that's it from me this week. I hope you have a great game week, and I'll see you in the next video.